Good afternoon. Welcome to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the greatest club in the Chuck, do we have an invocation?
Bow our heads, please. We thank you for the opportunity to be Rotarians today, to be here in support of each other in our community. Give us guidance in our endeavors for the auction coming up, and bless this food to our use. Amen.
Amen.
Would you now join me in the flag salute? We pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Ken, you have a song for us.
I heard you guys have done like take me out of the ball game like 45,000 times. So we're going to do American Pie. You guys know American Pie? It's only 30 minutes long. 30 minutes. No, I'm on my spring break. I got 1 or 2 days of sunshine. I need a little bit more. So you are my sunshine. Mike, you want to lead us? You are my sunshine.
I think we're good. We're good with one. Thank you. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? How about guests of Rotarians?
She's not a visiting Rotarian. My wife, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Yeah, I brought my wife, Darlene, tonight as well.
Hi, Darlene. All right. Anyone else? Welcome, Sherry. Welcome, Darlene. I'm glad you guys are here today. Let's see, club business. The auction is 36 days away. 36. That's not a lot of days. So we're still collecting silent auction items. Ruth is leading the auction committee, and we are well on our way to have a fabulous Camp Rotary auction. If you haven't turned in your items, grab a procurement slip and go ahead and get those turned in. I don't know when the next auction meeting is because Ruth didn't get back to me. So whatever, it's okay. There should be another auction meeting though. We do have the first 2 meetings in May reserved for auction organization to get all of the committees developed. So make sure that you don't miss the meeting on May 2nd and May 9th. Do we have any other announcements? All right, we're gonna move right along. Do we have a raffle?
We have a raffle, and we got to get it started.
Okay, our first winner today is number 45. 45, go ahead, Mike. All right. Okay, David Brick is, what? We should just make him pay. Anyway, go ahead. Cascade Pizza for David, okay. The next number is 33. 33. There we go. We got a winner. We got a winner. Here we go. Okay, there you go. Easy. Okay. All right. Good choice. All right. Now we have number 9. Number 9. There you go, Josh. He's going to take some wine. He's not a risk taker today. And then the next number would be 71. 71 is the winner. Winner is 71. Here we go.
Oh, we got a
All
hot
right, here we
table
got a
back
winner
there.
here. CarQuest. All right, there you go. $25.
All right. Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
President, we got that taken care of. It's unfortunate that virtual people can't spin the wheel.
I
We should
know.
figure out how to do that somehow.
They could just
somewhere.
Venmo $5 and
Just
we could spin the
Venmo
wheel for them.
$5 and be lucky that you didn't get charged money, extra money.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
Okay, Jim, you're up. Sergeant of Arms and Happy Bucks.
Okay, first and foremost, I was informed that our club was negligent in not addressing your birthday. So, buck up, buttercups.
Oh, thanks.
And then, of course, we've got birthdays and anniversaries. I've got one coming up this month, my 44th. I'll be paying for it in a little bit. So we'll get started. Since I'm a baseball nut, you get baseball. What player has the most World Series rings? How many? 10. How many in a row?
I got the right guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How many in a row did he and the Yankees win at one point? Five. Okay, old stadiums. Let's see, I'll go over here. Old stadiums, Rich will know this. What's the oldest baseball stadium? Fenway. Fenway in 1912, Wrigley in 1916. What tragic event happened in April of 1912 as when the Fenway Park was opened? Sank. Sank, yes, you're right. Okay, Mike, here you go. What team has the most World Series losses? What baseball team has the most World Series losses? No. Hmm? Dodgers. And who's second? Right behind them, they're the one that's been in the most World Series? The Yankees. Dodgers had 14 and Yankees had 13. You want to take one, Eric? Huh?
I said, I got that one. You didn't hear me.
Happy Bucks. Oh, the online people. What 5 teams have not been in the World Series, have never won the World Series? Name 3. Yeah, that's because they haven't ever been in it. There's 4 more. That's 1. Yep. Yep, they got it. 3 out of 5. The other ones were the Rockies and the Brewers. Happy Bucks then.
My happy bucks is that my sister's in town having lunch at Billy's, and we're going to drive up to Canada for a wedding this weekend. So I'm excited.
So I have a happy buck, sort of. One of the strategies that I use for the auction is that we always try to put in stuff that I want to buy, and that way you make sure it sells. And so Steven's team, if you're on Steven's team, raise your hand. Okay, you all owe me 100 and how many? 120 bucks? Okay, yeah. So their team, which my wife is on, is buying a chainsaw that I dearly need and want. And so go ahead, bid against me. I dare you.
That's it?
This is $5, but I want John to tell you where he's going. And what you gotta tell him when you're going.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me know that I'm happy, Mike. So Katie and I are going on a trip on Monday to Rome and to Spain, and we're going to walk 100 miles of the Camino, and it's just going to be really, really fun. It's supposed to rain, but we've been practicing in the Northwest, so we've been practicing in the rain. There you go. Take care.
I have 5 happy bucks. They're not happy, they're not sad. They're more like at tomorrow around 10 a.m. if everybody could just throw up some prayers for me. Piper is doing her first freeway drive in driver's ed. And I don't know who's more nervous, she or I. So that's my happy, holy crap, $5. All right. Well, we're going to get into our program. So we have new member talk and an old member talk. So first up is one of our newest Rotarians, Todd Wright.
Well, Chuck said I had 30 minutes to fill, so I'm going to do my best. Right? And that is 30? No. I'll give you a little 10,000 foot level on Todd Wright and see how we do with that. I know many of you in here, and some of you I've just met, but pretty much a lifelong resident of Skagit County. I was born in Mount Vernon. Spent a little time in Montana with some family. My mother was married to a gentleman there that I call my biological father. He's a little estranged, and some of us have those. She moved back into Conway, where we started elementary, and then ended up marrying a man in Clear Lake and enrolled us under the name of Anderson, because at that time sometimes your parents' names and your names, they kind of wanted them to match a little bit. Maybe it was for her sake, or maybe it was for ours. I don't know, but I went all through school as Todd Anderson, and in Sedro Woolley, graduated 1989. Spent lots of time in there wrestling and playing football. And I think some of the Janickies, I don't know if it was you, Mike, or some of the others that came in and would beat up on us every now and then. But we had a lot of fun. State competitor there, wrestled with Rick and Sherry's sons as well. So I had a good time. Like many young men, didn't quite know what I wanted to do with myself. So I took a year off. I logged and I worked in construction for a year, and then followed my mother's advice. You know, your mom always knows best. I'm a big believer in that. And she said, you need to go to college or go in the military. And I chose college. And so off to school I went in Montana and got to wrestle there for a little bit. At that point, you know, I was in love with this girl who tracked me down there, and it happened to be Mr. Skiles' daughter. And you know, we hit it off really well. And then when I came home and forced her to come home early and get married and have a child, you know, much to my chagrin, Daryl wasn't all that pleased with me, but he admirably accepted me and loved me into and supported us and his family. Really appreciated that. Mr. Skiles. And like many young marriages, we became a statistic. However, very successful in navigating that. And our families today are still close friends and collaborate and do a lot of things together as well. So appreciate you, Daryl, and all that you've done for my family. I have 4 kids, so I did it again. I had 2 with Daryl's daughter, Allie, and then I have 2 with a woman that I married named Anna Thompson, who some of you may know, Dave Parker and Scott Thompson from the Clear Lake Market. I don't know, he's provided some meat packs, and you guys have probably bought meat from him or done some things with those 2. So I've been married there for her for 22 years coming in May. So pretty proud of that, pretty happy. Still a resident on Clear Lake. We ended up taking over, we're gifted Dave Parker's property and built a house there. So that's where we are. In college, again, was like many young men, didn't really know what I wanted to do, was in jeopardy of being booted out of school because I hadn't chose a major and had fulfilled all my core class requirements. So I got a letter sent to me regarding loss control management. I jumped on it. It looked like a good broad education, was successful in getting that degree and then obtaining a job in Seattle. And then I basically spent the last 27 years in construction safety and risk management, the last 16 of which have been at Snelson here. So gradually migrated back north because that commute was quite hellacious, if you will. Spent a lot of seat time in the car. Was fortunate to land a job here in Sedro Woolley with the Snelson Group. Like many companies evolve and change and get sold. We were sold 3 times, successful in those migrations to different ownership. However, the last one we were purchased by a large corporate construction agent or umbrella company, if you will, by Primoris, and their culture and the culture that I built there at Snelson didn't quite drive with me. I was also interested in just getting out of the construction safety. I think some of you know that, you know, we as humans, we fail and we make mistakes, and sometimes it's not if, but when you're going to have a problem or a serious injury. So some of those that I dealt with 5 fatalities, and those can be weighing on you. And so I was very happy at some point in my career to say, okay, I want to get out of this. And like many of us who went to college, you got college friends, and a friend of mine hit me up and said, hey, why don't you come try this business out? And it's the insurance business. I said, I'm not a sales guy. He said, yeah, but you kind of are. You have to sell all of your programs and your systems and try to get people to do the right thing. He goes, this really isn't much different. So I said, okay. So I took a shot, and now I'm in the insurance brokerage business. So I work for Alliance Services down out of Seattle. And my big passions obviously are my children. I never thought I'd be a horse owner. Now I'm a horse owner. If you really want to lose all your money, get a horse. Yeah. Comes with a lot of things, but I love to watch my daughter, my youngest, rides the horse competitively. So that's fantastic. Hunting and fishing and sports. Obviously, I love to play pickleball now. I'm an old timer playing pickleball and really find that really enjoyable. Get to meet a ton of people. And then I love to really chase bugling elk in the mountains with my bow and listen to them. So that's my 10,000. Appreciate you guys for letting me share.
Okay, thank you, Todd. Horses are expensive, but I know his youngest daughter, Abby, she's sweet. Piper played softball with her for a few years, and she's just a great girl, so I think she's worth it. All righty. Now, next, we have the pleasure of listening to our good friend, Rick Tesarik.
I'm going to refer to Christine's email the other day. She said, we're going to have new members, new and old members speech from Todd Wright and a surprise Rotarian. Surprise. I got to use my notes. There is a new member speech from a very old member. When I joined Rotary, A. Bingham, Harry Fredericks, Wynn McLean, Hugh Ridgway, George Johnson, Joe McCann, Vern Sims, and Tony Harms were all the old guys. Now I'm one of the old guys. I was born in Spokane in December 24th, 1946. During World War II, my dad was trained as an office equipment repairman. And when Dad got out of the service, he got a job at a local office equipment store in Mount Vernon. And he moved our family to Big Lake when I was about 4 years old. I have two sisters older than me and a brother 1 year younger. So about 3 months out of the year, we're all 1 year apart. Dad had polio when I was born, and he was written up in the medical journals for the type of treatment that he received. I went to Big Lake Elementary School, Cascade Junior High, and I graduated from Sedro Woolley High School in 1965. I lettered in both football and wrestling, and we kind of followed Todd a little bit when Jeff and Ryan were wrestling. I also joined at that time the Peace Arch Water Ski Club up at Lake Samish. And I skied competitively, and our club put on many water ski shows throughout the Northwest. When I was skiing competitively, I was ranked 34th in the nation by the American Water Ski Association. In the winter, I joined the Mount Baker Ski Patrol, and I was a patrol leader there for about 20 years, and teaching our young sons to ski from the time they could walk. Actually, I took credit for teaching them, but it was really Sherry. She had one on her back, one between her legs, and holding on to the others with both hands. But we did a good job on it. When I was in high school, I started dating my wife, Sherry, in November of '64, right? She was 15 and I was 17. We've been together ever since. I attended Skagit Valley College and graduated with a business management degree. And after college, I joined the Army Special Forces and went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina for basic training, and then to Fort Benning, Georgia for jump school, back to Fort Bragg for MOS and Special Forces training. I have over 100 parachute jumps under my belt, and I love the exhilaration of being the first out the door. My father bought her personal office equipment in the mid-'60s, and I started working there in the summers. Dad later changed the name to Tesarik Office Equipment, and my father had a heart attack when I was in the Army, so I had to come home and take over the family business. I stayed in the Army, and I achieved the rank of E6. Sherry and I got married on August 30th, 1968, and had 4 sons by the time Sherry celebrated her 10-year class reunion. This August, we'll have been married 56 great years. We had a crazy busy life raising 4 boys with Little League baseball, football, wrestling, swimming, you name it, they did it. I ended up coaching Little League baseball for 12 years, and we were Mary Purcell Parent Club president from the time our oldest son, Jeff, entered kindergarten until our youngest son, John, left the 6th grade. And then we were active in the parent club through their high school years. I've been an active member of Bethlehem Lutheran Church for 58 years and served on the church council for 18 of those years, and some of those as president of the congregation. 34 years ago, Sherry and I started an annual auction that we modeled after the Rotary auction, and it's still going today. In the early 70s, we started selling Olivetti computers. And if you could imagine, the first disk drives that we had were 5 fixed in the unit and 5 removable. And the disk size was about 1.5 to 2 inches thick, and it was a 16-inch diameter for a 5 megabyte hard drive. Pretty impressive. Just think of your iPhone. In the 80s and 90s, when we were selling Olivetti computers, I was the #1 salesman for Olivetti in the country with over 700 dealers. And Sherry and I went on about 2 trips a year on incentive trips while I was selling the Olivetti computers. Later, I was appointed to the Dealer Advisory Council and was president there. And I'd go to New York several times a year to train other dealers. In the summer of 1990, our third son, Eric, was diagnosed, I wasn't going to do this, with rhabdomyosarcoma, stage 4. This is cancer of the muscle tissue around his pelvic bone, and he had 8 or more metastasis tumors in his lungs. This was cancer in the last stage. Eric battled his cancer with faith and courage, and he died 11 months later at Children's Hospital. After that, we became spokespeople for Children's. We did fundraisers. We worked the telethon and raised money for uncompensated care. After Eric's death, I decided to sell the office and try something totally different. So I became a residential and commercial painter. I switched from wearing 3-piece suits, white shirts, ties, to painting coveralls, and it was awesome. I chose to do a job that no one liked to do, and they were willing to pay for it. And the career change was very good. I retired in 2022 after 31 years of climbing ladders. All of our sons are Sedro Woolley High School graduates, and all of them have been married at Bethlehem Lutheran Church, the same church that Sherry and I got married in. Our grandchildren have been baptized and confirmed there. Jeff, Ryan, and John all have beautiful wives, and we have 8 amazing grandchildren from 10 to 24. Our life revolves around grandkids and their activities and sporting events. Our kids and grandkids keep us young and busy. In 2012, Sherry and I were honored to be inducted into the Sedro Woolley School District Hall of Fame for our involvement in the community, the work at the Landing, and at Children's Hospital. I joined Rotary in 1984. Rotary has been the greatest honor in my life. When I say I would give 100% to Rotary, I sincerely meant it. I would arrange my work schedule so I could leave the office in Mount Vernon every single Thursday to make the meeting. I have looked up to my fellow Rotarians as role models, business mentors, and friends, and respect all of them. Sherry and I served on the auction committee doing the catalog from the time I joined until 2010. Back in the day, when we actually entered items and typed them in a catalog by hand, and we photocopied them at the office late at night with our friends Phil and Marilyn Mihalik. Vern Sims was in charge of procurement back then, and he would call Sherry every single day to get an update on the value of the auction items thus far, and she would have to total those all by hand. We later started the themed auction with Gary and Linda Hansen, and that raised the revenues from the auction by leaps and bounds. To give you an idea of my dedication to Rotary, the year that Eric had cancer, he was in the hospital, and it would have been, I was thinking about this, it was 91, about 33 years ago. He was in the hospital at Children's Hospital, and then we would take the computer down there and I would type in all the auction items, and right now they're starting to come in. We're a club of procrastination. All the auction items, no matter what we say or do, they come in the last month of the auction. So I would type them up there at the hospital so that we could come home, print the catalog, get it to the auction on time. Sherry and I were honored with Paul Harris Award for the item, awarded for that type of dedication and love of Rotary. I served as Rotary Club president in 2008 and 2009 and enjoyed every minute of my Rotary and working on the projects. Several years ago, I went inactive, I was inactive. I was senior active for health reasons. For now, we pick up the grandkids in Bellingham because they have early release, and I plan to come back again as they grow older and Sherry trusts me a little bit more out of her sight. Sedro Woolley Little League and Sedro Woolley, the city of Sedro Woolley, dedicated a Little League field in honor of Eric in 1992. It was located between Highway 20 and the Cook Road and just east of the food pavilion. When the state wanted their property back, the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club built an amazing new field where the original ball field in Sedro Woolley was on Metcalf Street. That field means a world to us. Our family holds a Little League tournament every year in his honor. On January 11th, 2022, I had my second heart attack and was on life support for 2 weeks, and I coded several times on the way to the hospital and in the hospital before they placed my LVAD mechanical heart in me. Before my LVAD, I was still water skiing, surfing behind the boat, tubing with the grandkids, riding my jet ski, and snow skiing at age 75. Well, actually, the jet skis are Sherry's. I gave them to her for Mother's Day, but I really enjoyed riding them. And then not too many years ago, I traded in the old one because she wanted to go faster. So I got her a bigger one. So I plan to keep snow skiing, I think, but my water days are over because I am electrical now. Seems weird. Thanks to God and modern technology, the prayers of so many of you folks, and the amazing doctors at Swedish Hospital, I have a second chance at life, and I'm so grateful. I run on batteries, and right here, during the day, and we plug in at night, but I have a good life. I like to quote something from Jimmy Buffett on his song, He Went to Paris. Some of it is magical, some of it's tragic, but I had a good life all the way. I hope to have a lot more years dedicated to my family, friends, and Rotary. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I had no idea you were half robot. I have pens for you and Todd. I don't know where he went. Oh, to the back of the room again, but thank you guys. I always love the new member, old member talks because it's a really good way to find out things that we never might not have known about our fellow Rotarians. So thank you guys for doing that. Thank you, Chuck and Team April, for organizing that today. Do we have anything else for the good of the order? Any other announcements? Thank you, Sherry, for being here today. Thank you, Darlene, for being here today. And again, thank you, Todd and Rick, for your new member talks today. I really appreciate it. I have a joke. So one day, Moses and Jesus were playing golf. They were at the tee of a beautiful par 3 with a lake right in the middle of the fairway. Moses selected a 5-iron, teed up his ball, and swung. His ball sailed high and landed right in the middle of the lake. He muttered to himself and teed up a second ball. This time he selected his 4-iron. The shot was perfect, landing right in the middle of the green. Now Jesus paused for a moment to ponder his club selection. He said, Arnold Palmer would use this, he says, as he picks up a 5-iron. But Jesus, my 5-iron shot just ended up in the lake, Moses said. Use the 4-iron. Nope. Jesus says Arnie would use a 5, so I'm using a 5. So Jesus swings hard, and alas, his shot ends up right in the middle of the lake too. Moses parts the water for him, and Jesus walks and retrieves his ball. Jesus is not ready to give up, so he sets up his ball again, picks up his 5-iron. Moses raises his eyebrows but says nothing when Jesus' ball once again splashes into the lake. Moses again parts the water. Jesus goes and gets his ball, brings it back. Now, when Jesus selects the 5-iron again, Moses starts to protest, but Jesus cuts him off and says, Moses, I am Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Arnold Palmer is a great golfer, but he is a mortal man. If he can do this, so can I. So Moses rolls his eyes and says, all right, do what you want, Jesus, but I'm not parting the water for you again. True to form, Jesus' ball ends up back up in the water. Jesus stamps his foot in frustration and strides out onto the water to retrieve the ball. As Jesus is walking on the water trying to locate his ball, a foursome comes up to the tee. And they see this guy walking on the water, and one of them exclaims, who does that guy think he is? Jesus Christ? And Moses mutters, no, apparently he thinks he's Arnold Palmer.